Cooking Crave, brought to you by ENG Lending, your area's #1 choice for home loans. 456loan.com.
Coming up on Cooking Crave, we have a manicotti and a cheesecake with a surprise ingredient. That's all coming your way next on Cooking Crave. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer.
And I'm Laverne.
And we have a savory meat-filled manicotti.
Something new.
Something new, but
Yes.
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Anytime there's pasta and it's all good.
Yes.
And rhubarb cheesecake.
Little different, isn't it?
It is.
Rhubarb. Awesome.
I think they're going to be great. If you want to cook along with us today, just grab a piece of paper and a pen. Write down these ingredients. For the manicotti, you'll need 8 ounces of manicotti shells, a 1/4 teaspoon of fennel, 1/2 pound each of ground beef and pork, 2 cups of mozzarella, 3 eggs, a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, a 1/4 cup of parmesan cheese, 3/4 teaspoon oregano, 3/4 cup onion, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, an 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, and 14-ounce jar of spaghetti sauce.
Right.
A lot of ingredients, but it's not going to be hard.
Not difficult at all.
All
It's
right.
just, your seasonings make it seem like there's a lot, but there really
Yes.
isn't.
And for the rhubarb cheesecake, you're going to need a cup of flour, a 1/4 cup of sugar, and a 1/2 cup of butter for the crust. And for the filling, you're going to need 3 cups of rhubarb, a tablespoon of flour, 12 ounces of cream cheese, a 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 eggs, 8 ounces of sour cream, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Not too bad.
I can't wait to try it.
Okay.
Where do you want to get started?
Well, we're going to kind of be flip-flopping between the 2 recipes because
Okay.
with the we want to get the crust made for the cheesecake.
Okay.
And so we can get that in the oven because that bakes 15 minutes.
Okay.
But first we're going to come over to the stove here. And what I did, because it says 3 cups of rhubarb.
Okay.
And I did put that on low already and start cooking the rhubarb so I could get the sauce. So we save a little bit of time in between. So
Okay.
And actually I probably have closer to, say, 3 to 4 cups of rhubarb. It just, I make a rhubarb recipe. Extra cup of rhubarb is always good.
Okay.
Okay. So I have that. Now with this, I'm going to add half a cup of sugar.
Okay.
Yeah. I think when we talked about the recipe, we probably forgot the 1/2 cup of sugar because it was on the side of that recipe there. So I want to get that going. And so then we're also going to do a tablespoon of flour to thicken that up a little bit.
Okay.
So I'll get that and get that stirred and just let that cook a little bit more for that flour to thicken the sauce a little bit.
Okay.
Before we put that on top of the crust. This goes on top of the crust. And then we're going to bake that at 350 for, I believe it was 15 minutes and stuff. So I do have the oven on at 350. And so we'll just have that on and we'll just kind of watch that and stir that. So
Okay.
and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my skillet here and I'm going to add the 1/2 pound of beef and pork and get that going in there for our manicotti. So
Okay.
I'll just put that in there.
So we're kind of double dutying a little bit, going back and forth between recipes here.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't get mistaken what goes in which recipe.
Yeah. Hamburger filling on the cheesecake would not be very good.
No.
I don't think so. So I'm going to just chop that a little bit and get that going. There we go. Make sure I have that on there. Now for the cheesecake crust, we want a spring foam pan.
Okay.
It says a 10-inch spring foam pan. And so what we're actually going to do, the only thing the recipe didn't say, and I don't believe we're going to have to spray that because the crust, it's like flour and butter and a little bit of sugar. So, and when you take your sides off, it stays on that metal pan there. So I have a cup of flour, and then it says, I believe, and we can hang up the recipe to make sure that we tell the viewers all the right things here. So then it's 1/4 cup of sugar.
Yes. And a 1/2 cup of butter.
Yeah, and that's a stick of butter. And this one here, I did take it out so that it actually would soften, so I could mix that easier.
Right.
Okay. And I'm going to just start with this fork a little bit here. Start getting that mixed up, and then I'll probably be in there with my hands because we're going to pat that into the bottom
Yes.
of that spring foam pan.
So it's a little bit different crust for a cheesecake. You know, normally like cheesecakes you see a graham cracker crust of some kind, a little bit sweeter crust.
Yes, it is.
Even though we did put some sugar in here,
Yeah.
it's not going to be...
Not like what the traditional
Yes.
cheesecake recipe would be.
It's kind of like almost a pie cheesecake.
Yep. Now get that mixed well. It's going to be crumbly there. So there's a couple of steps to this. So we're going to get this all blended and get that baked, that 15 minutes. And then we mix up the cream cheese, the sugar, and 2 eggs to make the filling that we're going to put on top of the rhubarb.
Okay.
But only after that has baked for 15 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, it's getting pretty incorporated there.
Yeah, it is. So I'll just turn that down till we have a little more time to work at it. Now we're going to come over here and let's just look at our rhubarb sauce. And that is definitely thickening up here. Okay. So I'll just leave it on the burner yet, that heat, and I'm going to turn it off.
Okay.
And let's get the crust into our spring foam pan here. That looks like that's all mixed well. Because we're going to just want to pat that in there. We've got the crust here. Let's just pat that down. Okay.
And that looks like it's patting down pretty easy there.
Very, yes. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to pour our rhubarb sauce on here.
Do we just so we don't need to bake this prior?
Nope.
Okay.
You put that on and then you put the rhubarb sauce on top of it and bake it for 15 minutes.
Okay.
So we're going to get that here.
I was thinking it was just the crust we were
Oh, okay.
baking up right away to make it crisp.
And you know, I had to look at the recipe a couple of times because when it says a 10-inch spring foam pan, first when I saw that 10, I was thinking 10 minutes to bake, but no. So I had that same idea in my head right away too. So we got that rhubarb sauce here. And too, when this bakes, it's going to bake up a little bit more. I mean, the sauce will even thicken more.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll just spread that out here a little bit. And being that's really hot, that baking time, it helps eliminate some of the baking time too.
Sure.
For that 15 minutes. So we're going to put that in the oven. And I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. And one thing nice with the cheesecake baking, the manicotti is also at 350 degrees. So we're going to be able to bake them simultaneously in there.
Okay,
so,
perfect.
Which will be good. Now, we might as well get the filling ready for the, put on the cheesecake at that 15 minutes. So I'm going to put that in there and beat that up, and then we will get our manicotti made. So,
All right.
So we're going to start with 12 ounces of cream cheese. So it's 1.5, that box of cream cheese, it's 8 ounces, so you want 1.5 of that.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're going to do 1/2 cup of sugar with that. And we're also going to beat in 2 eggs.
Okay.
I believe that's exactly what it's saying, so I'll just crack the eggs there. Okay, great.
And are we having to beat the cream cheese with the eggs for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or?
Just till it's nice and incorporated and a little bit fluffy.
Okay.
Because you want it to be able to spread it easier. The more you beat it, the easier it's going to spread.
Okay.
So we'll put the eggs in there. And we'll get that. Well, I know we're going to have a little bit of noise with that, so we're going to kind of, I want to let that sizzle, or this is sizzling, this is going to beat.
Okay.
So let's get that beaten well, and for about 3-4 minutes, and then we'll be able to come back and assemble our manicotti.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we're going to turn the mixture off for this cream cheese and egg, and it's beaten nice and fluffy.
Okay.
So that's going to be ready to go. While we were waiting to beat this, we don't need to see how we brown hamburger and that. So this is already browned.
Okay.
So we're going to put it in this bowl here. And there, so, and I was pretty surprised. It says then drain and just use a slotted spoon for this. And when we're looking in here, there's virtually no
It's not fatty at all.
excess fat, which I was a little bit surprised because, you know, pork, you expect it to be a little fatty, but it wasn't. But mixing the pork and the beef together, you're certainly going to get a more flavorful, savory flavored meat.
Yes.
You know, or manicotti, I should say there. Okay, get that all in there. So then we're going, I did already, of course, cook my manicotti noodles.
Okay.
You know, all you're going to do it as the package, direction on the package there. So I'll set that aside here, and I've got my manicotti noodles here, ready to go. But so now what we're going to do is mix all the other ingredients in here, and we're going to want to spray our pan. And the recipe calls for 2 cups mozzarella cheese. 1 cup we're going to incorporate it into the meat mixture, and the other we're going to put on top of the spaghetti sauce and stuff too.
Okay.
And making sure that we do not forget, we want a little bit of spaghetti sauce on the bottom of the pan. So when I lay my manicotti noodles on there, sauce is going to be, we're going to have some sauce in there.
Okay.
So I'll let you just a light spread on the bottom of that. So I do have 3/4 cup very finely chopped onions. And now I do have all my seasonings in here, my oregano, my fennel seed, pepper and salt. So that's already all incorporated in here.
Okay. Oops.
So I'll put that in there. And now I'm going to we're going to add 3 eggs in there. There we go. And those all look great. And what we're going to do now is it says a 1/4 cup of seasoned breadcrumbs.
Okay.
Dry breadcrumbs. And what I used was, you know, some croutons that you put on salad or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because those are seasoned, they're dry. I just crushed them.
Perfect.
So you didn't have to make anything extra. So that was a 1/4 cup. And then a cup of the mozzarella cheese.
Okay.
And a 1/4 cup of parmesan cheese we're also going to put in there. So we're just going to go ahead and get that mixed well in here.
So, I mean, not a ton of ingredients, but plenty of ingredients. But like you said earlier, most of them are spices.
Yes, when you look at the recipe, you think, oh, that's a lot, but it's really not. So we'll mix that well. And because that hamburger was just taken out very warm, I'm just going to quick mix it with a big fork rather than getting my hands in there right away till that hamburger's cooled down a little bit.
It's not hot enough to cook up the egg, though.
Not at all, yeah. And with the manicotti noodles, I believe there was 16 in the box, like that. And like I said, I just, you know, cooked it up as directed.
Okay.
And I'll even have to admit to myself that I've never cooked with manicotti noodles. I've never done this one before.
Okay.
So it just seemed like a very intriguing recipe, and pasta is always good, and all these ingredients, so.
And so we need to add the rest of the sauce into here as well?
No, that's going to be poured over the top.
Over the top, okay.
And we won't use the full amount here because this is like 14 ounces of spaghetti sauce. And this, I believe, is a 24-ounce jar.
Okay.
So,
yep.
So we won't be using all of it. That mixed up really well, and it's going to, so now it'll be easy to fill the manicotti noodles and stuff. So we're going, it says take a 1/4 cup of the mixture to put in the noodle. And you're going to want to be a little gentle with the noodles because they can easily break or whatever. Yep. And being there laying together, I want to just make sure, I'm going to put a little knife in there and open them up so that they don't, it's not sticking. So what I'm going to do is just equal about a 1/4 cup. And so I'm actually going to use, open that up there and just fill that. And, you know, I think, you know, I did measure that. And I think it's going to be kind of something you really don't need to measure.
Once you kind of get how the first cup will go.
Correct. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to lay them in the sauce yet. I'm just going to lay them on a platter or a plate. Because this way, if when I'm done and I have more meat mixture left, then I can just fill them a little bit more. So, you know, I'm filling that and it's kind of coming out the other side. So we got to be a little bit careful, right?
I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a good day to be on this side of the camera.
Yeah. All right. I really do think someday we should switch roles, though.
Okay.
But you'll still have to do the opening and closing. Oh, probably not. So I'm going to lay that there. And so what we're going to want to do, the viewers are seeing what we're doing. We're filling those manicotti. So I'm going to just go ahead and continue with that. And then when we're ready to place them in the pan, we'll just come back.
Okay, that sounds good.
Stay ahead of the game with ENG Lending, North Dakota's #1 choice for home loans. Let Jay and his home loan specialist help you when it comes to purchasing your new home or refinancing your existing one. Make the smart choice. Call ENG Lending at 456 Loan. That's 456-5626.
Call 456-LOAN right now.
It's been 15 minutes. The timer is going off for the cheesecake, which is the crust and the rhubarb. So we're going to take that out. And we actually can see that rhubarb has already set up there.
Oh, yes.
So what we're going to do now is we whip the 12 ounces of cream cheese, the couple of eggs, and that little bit of sugar. So we're going to just carefully just spread that on top of this. And we'll double check that recipe, but I think it bakes for an additional 30 minutes. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And I did beat the cream cheese, the egg and sugar for several minutes, so it got to be nice and light and fluffy, and this way it spreads easy and that. So then when we get this baked, there's going to be another step to this.
The last step, yes.
Yes.
These manicotti noodles are taking a little bit longer to stuff,
Yeah.
so I'm continuing to do that while Mom gets the fun stuff.
Yes, right.
Not that this isn't fun, but
Okay, so let's put that back in the oven, and we will set the timer for 30 minutes. And let's see. Oh, well, we're getting close to the end here. So just about ready to get that in, be nice just to break them in half and fill it without having to put it in a tube, but that wouldn't be very good.
no, this is what's visually appealing about it.
Yeah.
All right.
So we get that just kind of, and a couple of the noodles did kind of have a little break in there, Tor, when we put that, when I boiled them, but it's going to work just fine.
I probably overstuffed a couple.
You know, and that's just fine because we are, this way, we are using all of it. Looks like have one left, so it's going to be awesome to get that in there. And I guess a little spatula will help, huh? Okay, this is a dual project apparently.
It's kind of a messy project, Mom, I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay, so we'll put that to the side there, and now we will bring our pan over here, and let's just go ahead and carefully put them in there.
Oh,
Oh,
this is not conducive to, you know,
oh.
I don't usually cook on this side.
Yeah, okay. So, in fact, I don't want to double layer them, so I'm going to just squeeze them together a little bit more, and we'll be able to get them all in there. Okay. One more. So there are 16 of these. Granted, it's not real, they're not real big, but you know, so you're going to feed 4 to 6 people very easily with this dish and stuff. So we're put that sauce over it, and just use your favorite spaghetti sauce or like that, or if you're a real Italian and you want to make your own, go for it.
Have at it.
Yeah, isn't that right?
And it's probably not that it's hard, it's just going to take a little bit longer.
It's, yes.
And we want to, whole premise of our show is to fast and easy cooking.
That's right. Okay, I think I have about 14 ounces in here, a little bit left here. So, and now we're going to put the additional cup of mozzarella cheese on top of it.
Okay.
And this we are going to cover with foil when we put it in the oven.
Okay. Do we have it on the foil covered the whole time we're baking?
Yes, it
Okay.
does say, you know, to cover that. And we can check at that last 5 minutes or so and make sure that, you know, there's a little bit of the cheese, a little bit of golden brown, but, you know, if we had it uncovered the whole time, that cheese would probably get too brown.
Okay.
I see a little bit of extra cheese in there. So it's not a lot of work, really. It's kind of fun, something different.
Yes.
Or whatever. So I do have my aluminum foil right here. And you know, I would think anybody that say you really like the spaghetti sauce or whatever, and if you have a little bit left, if you just want to use it all, you know, if you like that more tomatoey flavor sauce in there, go for it. So,
Sure.
So we're going to put that in the oven at 350, and that goes for 40 minutes. So we have 26 on there. When we take out that cheesecake and we put that back in for a few minutes, the manicotti is going to be pretty close to that, and we want the cheesecake to set a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to open the spring foam pan up yet,
Yeah.
but
We'll be able to see it.
absolutely. So
Okay.
we'll be back here shortly.
Sounds good.
All right, let's come over here. That's for the lasagna bake. So we should say bacon egg lasagna bake, right?
Right.
Okay. Ooh, that's a little hot. What I did here for that last 5 minutes, I had checked it, and I didn't want my cheese to get overly brown. It's just nice and golden, the way we wanted it. So for that last 5 minutes, I did put some foil over it just to keep from there. So,
Okay.
So now we're gonna bring it over here, and let's take out the scones. And I've already adjusted the oven to that 400 degrees. So we're going to put them in here. And it says 22 to 25 minutes. So let's do the lower amount. And then if we need to, we can always add a little bit more there.
Okay.
So now we're just going to, and this is just a garnish. It's just to make, you know, that eye appeal, you know, pleasing to the palate.
Yes.
There. So I'll just... And like I said, I was really quite, this is the first time I froze parsley and hoping that it would work for fresh. And, you know, it did very nicely. It was nice and dry and stuff. So while that is, you know, cooling down, or it is supposed to set, let's make our frosting, or our, you know, for our scones.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to just take, you always got to look something. I'm going to cut that lemon, and I believe for the frosting it says about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Is
Yes. Yeah, about 3 tablespoons, equivalent to a large.
Yeah, and this is what we have here. And we're going to get a lot of seeds in here, which we'll just end up taking out. And if I don't have, we'll start with this, and if we need a little bit more lemon juice, or the frosting is a little bit too thick, we'll just use regular lemon juice then.
Okay. Doesn't take a lot of liquid for powdered sugar, though.
No, it does not. You know, when you look at that, you kind of think of sometimes flour, and you know, oh, what you're going to do. It doesn't take long.
It doesn't.
And that, so we get that squeezed good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is get those seeds out. sometimes they just have, and adds a little bit of pulp there.
They're almost flat.
Mm-hmm. Making it a little bit more a challenge to get out. I don't have a small slotted spoon to get that out, those there, but it's just amazing how many seeds can be in a little lemon like that. Okay, I think that pretty does it. Oh, and I think I have one more here. And I'm going to just measure that in there just to see how much I have to begin with. You know, it's going to pretty much equal that 3 tablespoons, isn't it? So let's just kind of see once, you know, how... Oh.
Well, and you have the 2 in there right now, so...
You know, and I'm glad I didn't add it all in there.
Okay.
Because it's a nice consistency, because we want to drizzle. We don't want it real thick, you know, there, but if I add any more in there, it will be quite thin. Okay. So this is just perfect. So sometimes we just got to go in steps so we don't overdo it, because
Right.
I've done that, you know, oh, another tablespoon or whatever, and so then I end up putting more powdered sugar in, and you go back and forth till you get
Right.
what you need. So we'll just set that aside, and now what we just need to do is wait for the scones to be done.
Okay.
And the lemon, you know, I like putting them down the garbage disposal to get that garbage disposal, you know,
Smelling good.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to do with that. And so it won't be long before we're back with our viewers again.
All right, sounds great.
Country Rose Cafe on East Villard is open for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. Enjoy daily homemade specials, caramel and cinnamon rolls, several different kinds of homemade pies made fresh every day. Country Rose Cafe is also famous for homemade soup, including their ever-popular Nefla served every Tuesday. While you're in, make sure to pick up your Channel 18 Cooking Crave recipes and like us on Facebook for different specials and announcements. Country Rose Cafe, the way a cafe should be, located at 837 East Villard in Dickinson.
Timer's going off here for our cheesecake for that additional 30 minutes that we had. So we're going to pull that out, and we can definitely see how that's setting up here.
Absolutely.
This is going to be the last step. We have a cup of sour cream and 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Okay.
And 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And we're going to just mix that up, and we're going to put that on top of the cheesecake, and that goes back in the oven just for 5 minutes. And so with that, we'll just have probably about another 15 minutes or so for the manicotti to be done.
Okay.
So then we will be able to feature that. We'll take this out and so that it can start to cool. Okay. Okay, that was just mixing that up there.
I'm very interested to see how this all turns out for the rhubarb cheesecake. I've never seen a recipe like this for a cheesecake.
It's and it's not difficult, but we certainly do have, you know, several different steps.
Yes.
Okay, I was just looking back over at my timer there. Second spatula.
It always works.
Okay, so we're going to put that back into the oven for another 5 minutes here, and because we do have, like I said, about another 15 minutes for the manicotti, we'll just take out the cheesecake and wait till the manicotti is done, and then we'll feature it all.
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay, the timer went off for our manicotti here, so we will take that out.
It is bubbling hot.
It is. So here, we'll just put it on the hot plate there. Okay.
It's melted nicely.
It does. All right, so we can dig in right away. It's bubbling, and that's exactly what, you know, you were wanting it to do. So we will just take that out. And we were able to, our cheesecake has cooled somewhat. I was able to take off the spring foam outer edge, but I still don't want to cut into it because it's still kind of warm.
Right.
But it has set up really nice, and I think that looks like a pretty awesome dessert.
It does.
Rhubarb and all.
Yes, it's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much. I mean, you know, and a lot of ingredients for both of these recipes, but again, they weren't hard.
No, not difficult.
You know, this one, you know, has a little bit more take out of the oven, add this, add that, but it's not hard.
It's not. It's not difficult. And for a cheesecake that you're baking, that isn't really that long. No. Usually, you know, so many times you have to bake them an hour, hour and a half, and this one wasn't. So
that's
great.
Awesome. To get these recipes, just go to Consolidated's website, consolidatednd.com. Just submit your recipes for us to cook for all of our viewing audience on the show and get your name into the drawing for a Cooking Crave apron. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all of our sponsors, and join us next week when we do it all over again here on Cooking Crave.